What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know you're in trouble because I'm wearing the hat. Plus, I got it done up all proper. Imagine, I went to school for law and security because I wanted to, I was considering becoming a police officer because I wanted to help people. I also thought about entrepreneurship, which would have been smarter. But when I asked the guidance counselor, whoever it was, what made more money at college, it was a cop. And I was like, you know what, fine, I'll do that. Then, I didn't drop out, but I also didn't pass. So I'm kind of like a college dropout. I went snowboarding in Whistler for 8 years and traveled the world. So I don't know. Did I make the best use of my life? Who knows? I did something though, but I definitely don't regret my time in Whistler. It was a ton of fun, and I learned a lot. And at that time, even in college and in Whistler, I was telling people a lot of the stuff I'm telling you right now. And my bad. If what I say to you offends you, my sincere apologies. I don't mean to offend you. I'm just trying to find the truth in the information, and I'm open to being wrong. You send me better information, that's fine. You should fact check the crap out of me. Fact check the crap out of everyone. You know what I mean? Because people make honest mistakes. Some people are trying to deceive other people, which isn't ideal. And so, I'm just trying to do my best to kind of share you what I'm looking at, what I'm going through. And let's have some fun here because I'm going to kind of walk you guys through some of the stuff that I'm seeing. YouTube still let me on here, so hooray. But make sure if you are watching this, you got to go to my website, mattbelair.com, sign up for the email list because I just got all my stuff deleted from Facebook, all my stuff deleted from Instagram. So if you want to stay in touch, if you like the work, now's the time to let's do this. Let's get connected. I've been out here for a while, so would love to stay connected. I'm moving everything in-house. I'm also on Parler, which they say is for conspiracy theorists. Well, I guess if you're not going to let me post anywhere else, and I have a 5-6 year track record of interviewing people on personal development, spirituality, kindness, goodness, but also the truth, working on some gross stuff like human trafficking and forced organ harvesting, just is what it is, man. I want a better world. And so I'm just trying to figure out how to do that. How do we do that? And so there's some terrible stuff, you know what I mean? Keep talking about how bad the coronavirus cases are. The cases are up, but the deaths aren't up, And we got 9.1 million people starving. Somebody do the math on that. 9.1 million people starving to death in a horrendous way. I'm already getting fired up. I got spit everywhere in a horrendous way versus elderly people dying of a type of cold. Now, obviously, that's not great, but I think watching somebody, if you ever look at those images of what they look like, starving to death, just seems a bit worse to me. That's just my opinion. So, okay, let's take you guys on a ride because, I do a lot of research and just try and share just the most important stuff. I'm getting a little bit more heated in the battle because I think we're trending positively. And I'm thinking of that Yuri Bezmenov quote that basically is ex-KGB psychological operations. And he says, once the psychological conditioning reaches a level, no matter what evidence you show them, they're not going to believe you. And that's kind of what's going on now. So it's definitely tolerance time of what's going on here. And but I see it trending positively. And I see a lot of people probably having a rude awakening. And so I'm going to share you guys some information. So I can share my screen here. Let's do desktop browse Brave. I'll show you guys how I do some of my research here. So bear with me because this is the first time. All right. Oh dear, I'm on Parler. Oh no, they made me. I wanted to do Facebook, but they wouldn't let me. So here we go. So I want to know what the truth is. I've been trying to figure out what's going on since March, right? So where we're going to start here. Let's start with Teresa Tam. This girl sucks. She's in Canada. This is what we got coming in Canada. Here we go.
The public has to know this is one of the worst case scenarios in terms of an infectious disease outbreak, in that their cooperation is sought. If there are people who are non-compliant, there are definitely laws and public health powers that can quarantine people in mandatory settings. It's potential you could track people, put bracelets on their arms, have police and other setups to ensure quarantine is undertaken. It is better to be preemptive and precautionary and take the heat of people thinking you might be overreactionary, get ahead of the curve, and then think about whether you've overreacted later. But it's such a serious situation.
Oh yeah, where have we heard ahead of the curve? So, I've been telling my friends this stuff since, April when I figured it out, but I wasn't sure. I had to do a lot of investigating. Nobody wants to stare at the screen as much as I do. But yeah, you can round up and detain people and You know, that's fun. So let's go over here to this, what is it called? It's called the Hegelian principle. Hegelian process. All right, here we go. The government creates or exploits a problem, blaming it on others. The people react by asking the government for help, willing to give up their rights. The government offers a solution that was planned long before the crisis. And so you can go deeper into that, but that's essentially what's going on. And also, you know, and who's doing it? Okay, so yeah, you know, here you go. You got the World Economic Forum. You know, you make an account here. If you log in, you may as well log in and just, you know, go around here and just, I'll show you guys a little bit here because this is very fascinating. This is 200 layers, apparently 200 layers deep. I haven't gone all the way down. It could be 1,000 layers. I don't freaking know. 5G, a lot of information that says that's probably not good. You can find COVID-19. What do they got? Oh, look at this map. Oh, and if you just click civic part, vaccinate. Let's try vaccination. You know what we got? Trusting the experts takes more than belief. Oh, that's good. Hey, that's a good thing. It seems. I don't know what happened. Searching for the facts in a global pandemic. So that might be fine. Who knows? Let's click that. It's part of the rules. Yeah, I don't have time to go into this, but you can check it out. But you can just keep going down. Vaccine hesitancy. They got a plan for everything. And so, you know, this, you just keep clicking and it'll go deeper and deeper and deeper. How we can avoid a twindemic of COVID and flu. Oh, right. Oh, that sounds scary. COVID and flu together. So, you know, we've got Pfizer coming out. We got all kinds of stuff. So, you know, Canada bought a whole bunch of needles, right? And there's the vaccine agenda. You want to go here? Let's flip over here. We're going to bounce all over the place. Just, you're going to watch how my mind works. It's a bit nuts. Amazing Polly. This girl is incredible. Follow her on BitChute because they deleted her from YouTube, and she does something called the Global Healthcare Mafia, and she finds all the connections between Gates and vaccination and World Health Organization and CDC and all that. And those take a while, right? There's probably 3 hours of videos I watched just on her. And, you know, to kind of put out all those pieces of the puzzle together, it's like, holy smokes, lady, like she really does her stuff. So, then she actually just posted this new one on, how, Biden worked on MK Ultra, for frick's sake. I'm trying to find it. I was like, what? I was like, that guy is an OG of doing not so good things. So, you know, I'll say I'm not pro Biden. I'm not pro Trump. I'm pro truth and I'm pro freedom. And so it seems the way that the idea of the Republicans and what they're going for transparency in the Constitution, how the Constitution is run, the little I understand of it, I think you need a free and fair election. I am for that. I'm for that transparency. But also I think that we need to transcend government and govern ourselves as a people. So limited government. So whoever's trying to enforce us more, I'm not really for that. And so if you look at Biden and what he wants to do with the states, and I'm Canadian, so we're basically under communist Trudeau right now anyway, and I've got the proper hat for it. You know, he's saying we got to lock down, we got to do forced masks, we got to listen to the scientists. And if you look at Fauci and you watch Robert Kennedy Jr. and Robert Kennedy Jr. Interviews. Come on. Robert Kennedy Jr. interviews David E. Martin. And if you're not following David E. Martin, you definitely want to follow David E. Martin because he really knows his stuff. Okay, so this isn't loading great. And so maybe it's because so many people are going over there now. So, all right. So this is a great resource. It's the Swiss Propaganda Institute. So they track all the propaganda and, you know, what's going on. So let's look at overall mortality. You can scroll down here, global cases versus deaths. So COVID cases are in the orange. All right. COVID deaths. Oh, oh my God, that's hilarious. I haven't seen this one yet. Okay. Deaths from all cases. So, you know, they got the COVID deaths in this little tiny blue. Deaths from all causes. Okay, I got it. Now I understand it. So you got this little tiny line here in blue from COVID deaths, but look at the size of the cases. So that doesn't look very good. And I'm not going, you know, oh, this is a great one. You know, the projections, that's how they got us all inside. Look at the projections. Look at how crazy that projection is and how off it was. What is it? The London Imperial College. And if you go to Amazing Polly, she shows you all the sketchy people connected to all the other sketchy people, basically making us lock down for what we know has a 0.26% mortality rate. And now we know that most people who have passed had 2.6 pre-existing conditions. emissions. And again, I'm not going to do all the research for you. I'm just kind of showing you snapshots. You should fact check me. You should figure it out. You should verify it. And you should look at the other side, because I could get something wrong or something could change tomorrow. Information always changes. So median age of death. So let's look at how Australia, 82, Austria, 82, 70, 86, 82, 78. So now we know. So we got 0 deaths, 0 to 19, 0 deaths, 20 to 29, 1 death, 30 to 39, 4 deaths, 40 to 49, 16 deaths, 50 to 59, 53 deaths, 60 to 59. I don't know where is this? Is this worldwide? Example death chart by Massachusetts. Okay, so this is Massachusetts government website. And again, I'm just, this is kind of random. So there you go. So what the hell is going on? Something sketchy, right? Del Bigtree, follow him. This is just a good resource. He got deleted from YouTube, and just sharing the truth, doing some great stuff. I'm trying to. I put a bunch of links on Parler because Facebook denied me, and I was forced over there. Now I can't even show you because it's not even coming up. Problem, reaction, solution. We've been through that. Oh, this is one of the things that I wanted to say. That all right, we're gonna try Telegram instead. YouTube went down yesterday all around. And so remember Joe Martino of Collective Evolution saying they did, I'm obviously banned and shadow banned and all that kind of stuff, but they could just delete everything, deleting the records. They deleted 5 years of my work and track record and proof. So when you're deleting things and covering your tracks, that is never a good sign. So so that's just something to consider, that they actually might take down YouTube. I've heard wind of this. So you got to get into the Telegram groups and now, and you got to sign up for direct email lists now of people you respect, because these public big tech are not for the people. And if all these things are correct, then we are kind of in for, a little bit of big trouble. So here, I'm going to go to the Telegram group. So much great information here. This is my buddy, journalist Marky. He's out of the UK, posting a lot of great content. This is my channel. This is the community here. And, the nice thing is, we're not saying that we're right? Everybody's view is welcome, but this is just trying to get to the bottom of the information, the best information, and the community kind of, goes in there and, vets it. We check it and we figure out if we're correct or not, if we need to revise our opinion. It's totally fine if somebody makes a mistake, because information evolves, and that's the whole point. So somebody was telling me there's no evidence of voter fraud, right? So I was like, hey, I heard there's no evidence. Somebody help me out, because I can't research everything all day. Look at this. You got observers not being allowed inside polling stations, unverified absentee ballots, late voting, reports of dead people. And so here are all the links, which you can go in there and you can verify for yourself to see which ones are legit, which ones are stronger, which ones maybe not be legit. Here's some nice propaganda for you of what they would like to do. No, Matt. So we got social distancing and masks, and now we have a second wave. Obviously we knew that was coming. So yeah, so obviously we don't want the second wave. Okay, here it is. This is the thing that I found on Biden being connected to MK Ultra, and this was from Amazing Polly, and I was like, holy crap, is that legit? That's crazy. So that's a really interesting one. I didn't know he was involved with that. People say the Great Reset is nonsense. Well, they put it out in all the social media here, right? The Great Reset, that's what they keep talking about. It's on the World Economic Forum right now, the Great Reset. They do an article on it. So David Avocado Wolf, he's hilarious. He's got a lot of stuff on there. You can kind of follow him as well. So that's like my Telegram, and then I'll go around and I got a bunch of different groups I'm in. Alpha Vedic posts a lot of great stuff. Sometimes they go on meme wars, sometimes, but a lot of great links as well. Dr. Edith Ubuntu Chan, you want to follow her. She's just such a beautiful, amazing human being, and she's all about the solutions and positivity, and she's not going to kind of like go into the kind of battleground that I am, but she's so amazing and beautiful. Harvard math graduate, she's been on the podcast. Check her out. Definitely follow her on Instagram or Telegram, because they'd probably delete her there as well. So support her. David Wolf is always meme heavy, but the the articles are always solid and very, very, very interesting. Yeah, Bill Gates that bought Dr. Sebi. I didn't know about Dr. Sebi until all this stuff. Really interesting. You know, you should look up Dr. Sebi and what he's talking about. So really what we're talking about here is a global healthcare mafia takeover, and we're kind of witnessing it. And I feel like, you know, it's the evidence of voter fraud is pretty obvious. So let me just stop here for a second. So go to my Telegram, t.me/Matt Belair. Quick, if you're seeing this, you're lucky. So you want to share it with your friends. Some people have been volunteering. So if you can go to clipconverter.cc, take some of these things, make them 10-minute videos, upload them around, do whatever you can. That is really helpful because getting deleted and all that kind of fun stuff. All right, so this is meant to be a quick one, and I'm still going here. So let's just do the Brave browser again. Optimize. All right, so just this is what I do so to kind of check things out, right? So I've obviously got a bias. We all got cognitive bias, but mine kind of bias goes towards the truth, right? Crowder's hilarious, but you know, that's again Republican. I'm following Trump because he's the president and how accurate is he. Now let's look at, okay, CBC News, the National, okay? And I follow the mainstream news on both sides. Now when I'm trying to figure things out.
Until now, the
Alberta faces pressure for more restrictions, 630 downvotes versus 90 upvotes. People don't want more restrictions. Citizen stuck, another record day. So record day of cases. Again,
any other time.
We have the data now that it's not as deadly as they projected through the modeling that was done by Imperial College, who was paid off by pharmaceuticals. So yeah, you can look at the comments here. You know, they're pushing us to revolt. It's nonsense. Oh, why is everything so corrupt? Why can't we get transparency? Agenda 21, they're writing it in funky letters because, or 2030, because we get banned and shadow banned and can't let people know. You know, false positives. You know, tell a big enough lie and everyone will believe it. That is from Joseph Goebbels, who did propaganda for World War II. Liars, criminals. And yeah, they're definitely right. They're definitely right on that. So that's just what's going on in Canada news. Now, if you go to Australia news, and let's just go, I'll show you. Australia news, they're all pro Democrat, all pro Biden, all pro see, Biden criticizes Trump. And so this is what's going on. Refusal to secede. This is the new thing. They want to make Trump a dictator, right? So this video is not going to last. So that's what they're positioning. And we knew this months ago. Why were they saying, what happens if Trump doesn't leave office before the election? Like, why wouldn't he? Then we would say he's a dictator. And if he actually is, and get his butt out of there. But let's make sure, like, if you make a claim, then we can put some strong evidence to it, create action, get his butt out there. But if there's more evidence of a global takeover through medical tyranny, enforced vaccinations and chips in your arm, as crazy it is, we got to look at which one has you know, more evidence. So all of this, if you look at Australia, the mainstream news, they're all negative towards Trump. Why should he succeed? He shouldn't succeed or concede right now, because it's not done. By no stretch of the imagination is the election done yet. So let's go to Donald Trump, and I'll just kind of show you. Let's see if it did what it did last time. Oh, there we go. So if you go Donald Trump, right, all you got honors veterans. Oh, that's good. It's not as bad as yesterday. U.S. election continues to challenge results. This one is actually far less biased than the other day. I couldn't find anything. All it showed me was Donald Trump won't secede. Donald Trump won't secede. You know what? It's because I'm in Brave. That's another big distinction. I was on, let me see if I can show you a real live example of this. I'm going to pull up Google, and I'll show you the difference between using Google and Brave. It's so fascinating. So we'll see what will happen here in a live situation. Because, okay, we're going to do the Brave. Nope, we're going to do the Chrome. All right, we're in the Chrome. All right, let's just go Donald Trump. Both. Google. Trump stunning abdication of leadership comes as pandemic worsens. So they're blaming the whole pandemic on him. Why Donald Trump is the clear frontrunner for the 2024 nomination. Well, that's interesting. Pardon me, while he's president, can Trump preemptively protect himself from legal situations? I don't know. Interesting. Why he may run again. Why? So they're already saying that he lost. see why ex-CIA chief is more worried about Trump now. So maybe it's legit, you know, maybe he is the worst, you know. And again, it's the most dangerous thing to go like just investigate Trump right now, because if you say anything that isn't incredibly negative, you know, that's danger. That's a danger town. So I don't, you know, this girl, she broke away from Fox News from the nonsense. There's a investigator from Joe Rogan that left because of the censorship. So there's all this kind of stuff going on, but you want to look at both sides to see if what you're talking about is legit. So this seems to be Biden slams for Trump for refusing to concede election. Well, he shouldn't now. The amount of voter fraud and evidence for that is massive. It's so massive. Oh yeah, so I searched Trump, and like we're in the Chrome now. I can't find his channel. I wasn't able to find his channel to look at what he was posting and sharing information. But then I'll go to CNN. So let's go to CNN. And I watch CNN too. And then I just throw it on the weights and scales. I like, hey, they say Trump isn't conceding. Well, should he concede? I don't know, right? So I look at kind of both. And they're really about the cases, and, you know, CNN is pretty brutal. This guy, Brennan, is super brutal on the information he puts out there. It's just on Trump's refusal. See, so they're saying on Trump's refusal to concede, you know, he hasn't won yet. You know, by any stretch of the imagination, he has not won yet. And so you got to win, right? So that's one argument. He's supposed to concede. They're saying that, yeah, he's already won. Well, if you go to, I don't know, Ben Shapiro, again, so he's the opposite side, right? He'll tell you in plain terms if he should secede or not, because he knows a lot about politics, a lot more than me, you know, and so he'll go in there and he'll make his argument as well. So watch both arguments and see what you think, and then make your own conclusions. So that's that. But it's beyond Democrat versus Republican. It's not about hating Biden. It's not about hating Trump. It's not about hating Democrats. It's not about hating Republicans. It's like, how do we navigate through this as a community? Because friends are being divided, communities are being divided. All this strife is happening, and it's really challenging. So what can we do here to heal the divide of our planet, of our communities, but also be aware of the influence of these, you know, forces like the World Economic Forum, like the big pharmaceutical vaccine companies. I highly recommend Corbett Report. So let's go back here. I highly recommend the Corbett Report, Rockefeller Medicine, because this is a really big distinction. Rockefeller Medicine is basically when they hijacked modern medicine. And somebody just reached out for some coaching. So watch this by Corbett Report. He basically outlines it all. But I just had somebody reach out to do some coaching. He works in the medical industry with medical books. And he says it actually goes way, way, way worse than the Flexner Report of 1910, when they hijacked medicine, because they would make these false studies about how, let's say, garlic would harm your dog or something like that. So they had a smear campaign on everything herbal, everything from the earth. And when I studied with the Native Americans, they had a plant to solve for everything. You know what I mean? They didn't have hospitals back then, but they had an herb for everything. And so what he said was that these big companies, funded by Big Pharma and Rockefeller and all those, they funded studies to say that, you know, these herbs caused harm and they should never be used and people should be afraid of them, so that you could get profit from pharmaceutical and vaccine. And that's just kind of the world that we're in right now. So, you know, David Rockefeller's awful. George Soros is awful. Here's the Event 201 highlight reel. So let's just watch that. And I'll tell you, I watched everything basically at 1.75. So I'm going to make you watch it at 1.5.
It began in healthy-looking pigs, months, perhaps years ago. A new coronavirus spread silently within herds. Gradually, farmers started getting sick. Infected people got a respiratory illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia. The sickest required intensive care. Many died. Experts agree, unless it is quickly controlled, it could lead to a severe pandemic, an outbreak that circles the globe and affects people everywhere.
The mission of the Pandemic Emergency Board is to provide recommendations to deal with the major global challenges arising in response to an unfolding pandemic.
Johns Hopkins.
The board is comprised of highly experienced leaders from business, public health, and civil society.
We could be looking at double the number of cases in 1 week and 16 times as many in a month if we are not able to stop the spread. That would be on the order of 500,000 cases, and it would continue to rise exponentially. In 3 months, we could be approaching 10 million cases.
So this is practice. This whole Event 201 is practice, and Amazing Polly does the research on all the players there and their positions around the world. This is practice. You simulate that. You learn that in Toastmasters. You learn that in public speaking, so that when you go do it, you're prepared. You simulate it. The Army does it. They do simulation training. So that's what's going on here. This is a simulated training.
We're at the start of what's looking like it will be a severe pandemic, and there are problems emerging that can only be solved by global business and governments working together.
Sample news.
We have known about caps-like viruses in animals and people for decades.
A centralized mechanism, worldwide footprint, universal.
That they will have a better chance of protecting their own populations and their country's security and health. So to be completely clear, most of the...
So there's a really interesting one, Iron Mountain Kennedy. And there are several whistleblowers, Iron Mountain Report by Kennedy, talking about how for this global government to work, they need to go under the UN. President Kennedy warned about all kinds of things, right? Globalists. Eisenhower warned about globalists. So, they all warned about these globalists because it was a real threat, because people want power. It just is what it is. And that's kind of what's, in my deduction, what's kind of happening now. Where the heck was my mind going with this? So, if you look at the World Economic Forum and all the people who are there and their influences, how many people resigned, there's a lot who have resigned. And so now all right, this better work now because I'm starting to get annoyed. I don't even know what my password is. I barely got over here. Facebook, all gone. I don't remember. Sorry, I'm going to stop this. But I'm trying to find one specific video where they're talking about basically the psychological operation to have a coup on the Republicans and Trump, who represents the Republicans. And so even if it's half and half, right, half the world who wants the Republican agenda, they get their say, and the other half, and if it's more than half, the Democrats, they get their say. And one of my amazing friends and clients, he said, well, why don't they just split the country in two? The Democrats can have their thing and the Republicans can have their situation. That's amazing. Like, what can we do to find solutions that are like outside the box here? That would be, the Democrats would be stoked and the Republicans would be stoked. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's put on these our thinking caps here. But I do think a lot of information is coming out that is going to expose what's going on here, because the election fraud is huge. I keep seeing more information about how that they did a quantum mark on it from several different spots. And I don't know, I haven't verified it yet, but it does seem very plausible. Okay, so it's working now. I wanted to show you some positive stuff. Friggin' work. Brave. Okay. All right, so check this out. Italians. Genoa, Italy, police officers take off their helmets.
Allora, si stanno togliendo il casco, un'immagine, gesto di distensione dai poliziotti, che un grande applauso è partito e sta abbracciando la piazza.
Isn't that beautiful? It's people. I remember hanging out with David Lombard, Senepas, and Migama, and he said, when there's protests going on in some of the native communities, he goes, one side has paychecks. That's why they don't leave. So the police always have a paycheck. And so that's why we do these things. So what are you doing for a paycheck? And so that's just something important to consider. And so I do think that we are, this was interesting. So this is de Blasio's daughter. Now it could be nothing, right? It definitely could be nothing, but it's still something that I saw.
Why do you think this is so special? Why do you guys have it so?
Well, for me, it's really special because now we have the first Black Asian female president in office, elected, and Joe Biden was able to steal now. He didn't win. Sorry.
I thought I knew story here.
No, we were able to win the election
Now you can't go, too far with something like that. Able to see it could be a Freudian slip, right? So you just put it on the weights and scales, and you're like, all right, maybe, but that's still a sketchy thing to say. But lots of people slip up. I say all kinds of stupid stuff. And so, this was an important one that I wanted to bring up. All right, look at this. So what have many of us been talking about since the beginning? Forced ID passports. So you need to check your ID status to your vaccine status to go see a show. So this is mandatory COVID vaccine identification for concert attendance, for something that has a 99+% survival. So yes, we did tell you that. And the full article somewhere, follow me on Parler if you want to check it out. I'm posting there. It's also on Telegram, not on Facebook because I'm not allowed over there anymore because I'm posting too much nonsense. I highly recommend checking out this one here. This is with Robert Kennedy Jr. and my homie, David E. Martin, who is kind enough to give me a little shout out at the beginning. But he talks about his technology that he uses to figure out this information and the vaccine agenda and Moderna and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to speed it up. You're just going to have to deal with that.
How you doing, Bobby?
Hey, how are you, David?
Couldn't be better.
So welcome to Instagram Live. Is this your first venture on Instagram Live?
I think this is my second Instagram Live. The first one, I think, was by accident. I think my first one was with Matt Belair, who tried to get me in the 21st century. But I'm leaving it to you to make it work this time.
Yeah,
I can guarantee you this is the first time I've been on at the beginning when I was scheduled to be on. So there you go.
Well, I'm very impressed about how fast you got on. But, and I'm the worst person on technology to tell you. So let's just make the best of it.
There you go.
Everybody, this is David Martin, who's made this incredible impact. For those of you who saw Plandemic, he was kind of the surprise star of that venture, that movie. And David, will you describe, because I still can't really describe what you do. It's very unique, the way that you've, this career path that you've landed on of understanding our patent system and why that's important to Americans.
Yeah, so the decade from 1990 to 2000, the countries that were prohibited from exporting offensive military technologies during the lead up and the end of the Second World War and then through the Cold War, what I was doing then was taking technologies out of Russia, out of Eastern Europe, out of Japan, and finding commercial uses for those technologies. So for a decade, I did what was treaty-restricted technology transfer. And in addition to that, I ran the first medical device contract research organization for the FDA. Here at the University of Virginia, I ran that for the decade of the 90s. In 1998, I set up a company which allowed U.S. banks and then global banks to use intangible assets as collateral for loans. It was bringing the knowledge economy into banking. And so for the last 22 years, we started that in October of 1998, and MCAM has been around ever since. We are the only underwriter of intangible assets for banks worldwide. So our work is done in 168 countries.
So just that people understand that normally when you want to get a loan from a bank, you put up security, and that could be your business or your house.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. Oh, Jeepers Creepers. It's still playing. It's still playing, but I can't find where it is. Hold on one second. All right, here we go. I had to pause it there. Luckily, I found the pause button. Okay, so basically, I had David Martin on the podcast twice to try to figure out what he did. But this patent system has all the intellectual property. He also has some sort of like AI system that detects the intent behind communication. And if something is sketchy in this intellectual property, in these patents, it'll flag, hey, this is an anomaly. And that's how he's finding all this information about Moderna, about the vaccines, about the agenda. And it's all verifiable. It's all in the patents, and it all needs to come to light. So follow David Martin, follow Robert Kennedy Jr. These guys are really leaders in this space, and we need to get that information out because, it is just the truth. You know what I mean? The truth has no political affiliation, and so we want to move towards full transparency, whatever the case may be. And so the more of us that can have the courage to look at things, then we're going to have opportunity to grow. We're going to be able to, have the right to liberty and prosper. And so we're in very interesting times. My recommendation always is look at your own house and your own community, be who you want to be, because a lot of people that I'm working with, this is a huge change, huge chance for transformation on our livelihood and what we do for income and connecting with family. And so, I've had to move other platforms, but the people that have kind of reached out, it's been really, really beautiful. And I really appreciate all of you that have reached out. It's been so helpful. So please follow me on those new platforms because, we got to get off YouTube. We got to get off all of them, or I do anyway. You don't have to do anything. But I appreciate all of that support. And so David Martin and what he's doing is incredibly important. And that's it. So it was meant to be a short video, but I kept going. But that's kind of how I do some of my research. I look at all of them around. I have the channels with the Telegram. I look at the global news. So I'll say, I heard this is a globalist agenda. So let me look up UK news and all the mainstream and what they're saying. And now the big thing is saying, Trump is not going to concede and they're going to position to be a dictator. And maybe he will be a dictator. I don't know. But that, for me, you would need to prove that, all the ballots were counted fairly. And once you should be able to prove that in a court of law. That's what a court of law is for. So we should get a clear answer on, the ballots being counted fairly, disregard the ones that are illegal. And if it comes out, whoever the winner is, that's the winner. Then they win. And that's why you have a court, a Supreme Court, and the Constitution, which is the highest law in the United States, as I understand. And then, looking at stuff like mind-blowing, like Cal Washington. If you haven't watched my interview with Cal Washington, the guy blew my freaking mind. It was one of the most gnarly podcasts I've ever done. So check out Cal Washington for sure. And he talked about these notice of liabilities and having high-ranking ministers in Canada leave their positions when he sent them a notice of liability, helping people in Kelowna, British Columbia, and other cities get the smart meters removed from their homes because they were causing harm and small doses of radiation and spying on you and things like that. So was able to defend himself in court and understands the court systems through going all that kind of stuff. And if you ever hear about a sovereign man or a living man, things like that, which I only understand a very, very tiny bit of, he's actually one of those people who's legit. A lot of people try and they end up going to jail and getting stuck because they don't know the nuances or that high level stuff. Well, Cal has been doing this for years and he's at that level where, I don't think he pays taxes or anything like that. And I texted him, the other day because I was going through some stuff that I had to figure out. And I was like, hey, Cal, I was like, what do you think about this? Like the taxes or whatever. He's like, well, it's possible, but you shouldn't do it, because you haven't earned your stripes yet. You don't know. So same thing with Tom Barnett. He said the same thing. It's possible, but you really got to know what you're talking about, because as I understand it, it's like this agreement. And when we don't, if we make an agreement through our ignorance, it's still an agreement. And that's what they do with the smart meters. They put them on your home and they say, hey, we're going to put them on your home. And unless you say no, it's a yes. It's a tacit agreement. And so something that I knew. So anyway, I want to go beyond this political stuff, this left and right. But I do want to know the truth. And I definitely don't really want to be masked up, you know what I mean? And for the economy to go down again. And I want the truth about the coronavirus and how deadly it is and the vaccines and that agenda. And so, so I see it trending positively. I see what's going to happen is, probably the Republicans will win because there's so much evidence of voter fraud. And a lot of us kind of saw this coming. And so then what'll happen is, they're going to position Trump as a dictator. And, then you're going to get the left, which is supposed to be so loving and all inclusive, lose their marbles. This is my guess anyway. I don't know. Things change every day, but I know that in Canada, we're making legislation and moves to say that if you don't vaccinate, then you're harmed and they can put you in a detention camp. And guess who that, so I would like freedom and I would like that option. And I don't want that needle anywhere near me or my family. I want to have peace and prosperity and freedom. And so just kind of got to keep an eye out here. And there's a lot of cool opportunities like the Sue app as well. And all these people reaching out to me as they know that I'm being deleted and say, hey, well, if I got to start again, I start again and lose thousands of fans and followers and content. That's okay. It's not ideal, but you know, I have trust and faith in the universe and goodness, and I want truth above all else, even if it hurts, and I want solution above all else, and community above all else, and freedom to, you know, make my own choices and my own decisions, and opportunity to thrive and cooperate. And I hope that, you know, most of us would want those things as well. And so we need to be that person, and we need to look for solutions. And if it's not a left or right, try to, like, you know, get some Aikido going, or think outside the box, or what can we do here to raise up all of humanity as we witness this. And so my suggestions would be limit your television, get onto really high quality groups. Like I said, like Telegram, my group is great. I can send you to a couple other ones. I like David Avocado Wolf. He's funny. Solutions for Humanity by Josh Del Sol is excellent group. Follow Del Bigtree. He's been accurate since the beginning. David E. Martin, support him. Stop supporting Facebook if you can, because Facebook and Twitter, it's our main communication device. And that's another reason why, you know, this is a global agenda and war, because big tech is censoring only Republican freedom of speech. You know, that's all they're doing. The other side can post whatever they want, and so that's how you know that's serious. And all the other stuff, all of my podcasts, all that stuff, all that research I showed you on the playlist the other day of coronavirus research. I'm just going to share the screen. Okay, I'm gonna share the screen now. Look at this. Like, this is how you know we're in a battle here, because coronavirus. Okay, I started researching this like a madman, right? Deleted. Okay, going down. I watched all of these videos. I learned about germ theory versus terrain theory. I had Dr. Bear Lando on to talk to me about that. You should watch his full video on it. Corbett report. That's an amazing one there. These are hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, 6 minutes, which was nice. Dr. Shiva Ayadore, you know, deleted. This is us, Kelly Brogan, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, and Dr. Bear Lando. That was an excellent one. Going down, I showed that, but deleted. You know, there's so many of these things that are deleted, and I've put hundreds of hours of research into just figuring out the truth. And also websites like the Swiss Propaganda Institute. This is a fantastic website. They've been accurate since the beginning about COVID, so go check them out. What else? QuestioningCovid.com. They put accurate information that we know is accurate, because they've been correct since April. So all these places have been correct since April. So that's why you want to link in to really high quality information. And if you're confused, it's probably because you haven't done enough research yet, because it is confusing until it becomes clear. And then you're like, okay, this is much more likely. You know what I mean? And then you're open to being wrong, and you're open to getting new information that will revise your opinion. That's just being a good critical thinker. That's just kind of how it works. You create opinion based on good solid evidence, and you can make an argument, and you're open to someone else's argument. And if their argument is even better than yours, then you can revise your argument. It's not a big deal. But what's happening is that we're getting censored, we're getting banned, we're getting deleted. And that, to me, says that there's an issue with big tech, with, you know, all of these stuff. And every time I see here, it's like, you know, just unbelievable nonsense every single day on Twitter. It's really unbelievable. So I just try to find people who are putting out the truth. Del Bigtree is the man. You know, lots about vaccinations and truth and the death rate and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just saying nothing again, but thank you guys so much for watching. Just give you a little insider information of how I work during the day. Going to be launching the quantum heart hypnosis soon, so check that out. It's awesome, but I'm stuck in researching so much and doing these videos that's been challenging. Transferring my data into the Academy. So please go over there, consider becoming a patron, consider joining the Academy. It's a subscription. You can do whatever you want. I'll give it to you for free. If you want to give me $1 a month, that'd be fantastic. But transitioning, keeping this going, going to make more content, Telegram, Parler, but you know, the time here is probably limited. If I'm allowed to stay, fantastic, even better. Yeah, Facebook, I got a new account. I don't know if I'll start a page over there, but probably just opt out and do Parler and do Sue app, TSU. I can send you a link for that as well. But you know, I'm for freedom, I'm for truth, and I'm for open debate, and I'm for being wrong. You know what I mean? We should have good open debate in a respectful manner, and you know, that's what's happening. That's why I feel free over there, because no one's like guilting and shaming. Now the last one is just Twitter. Just so many, you know, they never give me any evidence. They just guilt and shame, and they're total butts, and never talk about the information. So no matter what your beliefs are, you know, we can do this as a humanity. It doesn't matter who our quote unquote leader is. We are the ultimate authority here. We can find a way to work together no matter what those beliefs are, unless that person is trying to oppress you. And then in that way you can protect yourself and navigate. So be the person who wants to free others, who wants to find solutions, who wants to support each other, who wants to build a better humanity, who wants to find a free energy. That's what I want to be talking about, free energy in a new world. But I do see us coming into a little bit of a rough point, but I do see us getting past it and then starting to like reprioritize everything, what's most valuable to us and rethink our finances, rethink our government system, rethink how our cities work, Russell J. Gould and all that kind of stuff. So not even, again, I'm not even pro-Trump or pro-Republican. I think we need to go beyond that. And Russell J. Gould and some of these natural law guys, they really talk about, hey, like even that government is baloney, and how the monarch is baloney and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, great. I'm all for very, 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 very limited authority of any friggin' kind. And so if I have to pick between two, and one of them is super authority and one of them is saying vaccines are optional and let's stick to the Constitution, I'm kind of for that, because in Canada we lost it. We got a dictator over here, and a lot of countries have dictators. So let's just build something better. And hopefully Russell J. Gould's legit. He's super, super interesting. And so he can become commander-in-chief, create Nasera Jacera, if you've ever heard about that, like natural law based on goodness and kindness and common sense. That would be freaking fantastic. And again, I don't know. I'm just kind of ranting here. So hope these are helpful. Big, big love to you and your family. Have an amazing day, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.